And here is the Writer's Almanac for Friday. It's the 10th of May, 2019. On this day in 1872, Victoria Woodhull became the first woman to run for president. Nominated by the Equal Rights Party, New York City, she ran even though women did not have the right to vote, and she ran though she was 34, and the Constitution says you have to be 35 to be president. Victoria Woodhull, who said, "They cannot roll back the rising tide of reform. I am a free lover. I have an inalienable, constitutional, and natural right to love whom I may, to love as long or short a period as I can, to change that love every day, if I so please." It's the birthday of Fred Astaire, born in Omaha, Nebraska, 1899, Frederick Austerlitz. He and his sister Adele made their professional debut in a brother-sister vaudeville act. They starred in a whole string of hit musicals on the Broadway and London stages, and then Adele married and Fred went to Hollywood, where despite the fact that he had large ears, he made 31 movies, 10 of them dancing with Ginger Rogers. Fred Astaire, who demanded and was given autonomy over the dance sequences in his movies, and he insisted, first of all, that the song and dance be integrated into the plot line, and he insisted that a dolly camera film a dance routine in as few shots as possible, typically with very few cuts, as the audience followed the dancers and choreography in their entirety. Fred Astaire said, "Ginger Rogers had never danced with a partner before me. She faked it an awful lot. She couldn't tap, and she couldn't do this and that. But Ginger had style and talent and improved as she went along. She got so that after a while everyone else who danced with me looked wrong." It's the birthday of Maybelle Carter, born in Nicholsville, Virginia, 1909. When she was 18, she and her cousin Sarah and her brother-in-law A.P. Carter cut an audition record in Bristol, Tennessee, for Ralph Peer of the Victor Talking Machine Company. Jimmie Rodgers, the singing brakeman, recorded that same day in Bristol. It was the beginning of commercial country music in the United States. Maybelle Carter was the guitarist. She used her thumb to play melody on the bass and the middle strings, and her index finger to fill out the rhythm, what she called Carter scratch-style guitar. Through the years, the Carter family recorded traditional songs: Wabash Cannonball, Wildwood Flower, Keep on the Sunny Side, Will the Circle Be Unbroken. Their first release for Victor was Wandering Boy, which starts out in the cold world and far away from home. Somebody's boy is wandering alone. No one to guide him and keep his footsteps right. Somebody's boy is homeless tonight. Out in the hallway there stands a vacant chair. Yonder's the shoes my darling used to wear. Empty the cradle, the one that's loved so well. How I miss him, there's no tongue can tell. It was on this day in 1893 the Supreme Court ruled that the tomato is a vegetable and not a fruit. The Tariff Act of 1883 said that a 10% tax had to be paid on all imported vegetables. So the importers argued that, according to the dictionary definition of fruit, the structure that grows from the flower of the plant and holds the seeds, tomato was a fruit. But the government read the definitions of eggplant, squash, pepper, and cucumber, all of which, like tomato, are fruits in the botanical sense, but which are considered vegetables. Justice Gray delivered the opinion of the court. He said, botanically speaking, tomatoes are the fruit of a vine, but in the common language of the people, they are vegetables, which are usually served at dinner, in, with, or after the soup, fish, or meats, and not, like fruits, generally as dessert. The problem was that vegetable has no actual scientific or botanical definition. It is a culinary term. And it's the birthday of the novelist Belle Kaufman, born in Berlin, 1911, grew up in Russia, immigrated to New York at the age of 12, went to Hunter College, Columbia, got her master's degree, taught in the New York public schools for about 20 years, and from that experience she wrote one of the most famous novels about public schools, Up the Down Staircase. Came out in 1965, the story of a teacher who set out to work in the New York public schools and ran up against bureaucracy and impossible students. Here's a poem for today by Anita S. Pulliar entitled The Limits of Magic. The concert hall is full of gray heads, and I might well be one of them, but I cannot be sure, as I have not seen my hair for years. Olga, my colorist, conjures a chemical hue to match a color that exists only in memory. And she does what she can, this skinny Russian girl stuck behind a salon sink, stirring potion after potion for heads of thinning, colorless protein. She is talkative and cheerful, hoping for good tips from grateful customers who understand the limits of her magic and want to prove what good sports they can be despite the cruelty of the process that brings them together. The Limits of Magic, a poem by Anita S. Pulliar from Perfect Diet, published by Finishing Line Press and used by permission here on the Writer's Almanac for Friday, the 10th of May, 2019. Be well, do good work, and keep in touch.